when I was a senior in high school, we had moved from Chocowinity to the other side of Washington, and we owned a motel. And it was in a horseshoe shape, and there were separate cabins. And there was we had a restaurant and gas pumps. And this state highway patrolman had picked up a guy and arrested him for robbing a house down the road close to my Uncle Bill's. And he was coming back toward town, and he got almost to the restaurant. And he had the guy in the front seat with him and had him handcuffed like this. Well, the black man reached over and got his pistol. Mm-hmm. And no, he first grabbed his steering wheel and he slammed on brakes and pulled him down into a ditch at the farm next to the motel. Mm-hmm. And then he grabbed the guy's gun and they started wrestling for the gun. Well, Dad heard the slam of the car, brakes, and it hit, and he went out, and I don't know whether Dad, I think, opened the driver's door, and the patrolman was on top of the guy, and so Dad ran around the other side, opened the door, and started choking the guy that was handcuffed. Mm. And he said he had him, his head was down toward the floor, and his eyes were rolled back in his head. He said, I thought I had him out. And it was, he said it was almost like a last ditch miraculous strength. He wrenched the gun out of the patrolman's hand and turned around and stuck it right in Dad's, and shot him right here. Mm. Dad had a pack of cigarettes in his shirt pocket, and he had a fountain pen that his sister had given him that had an aluminum filter over the top of a rubber bladder that held the ink, and the bullet hit that pen, and it caught a rib, and it went around the rib. It punctured an artery.
Oh God! Ooh.
And it came out above his kidney and his back. But anyway, Dad turned around. Now I didn't get to see this. I was in town getting some groceries, and but he walking back to the restaurant, and every step he take, the blood would shoot like this, And Mom grabbed towels, and the policeman called an ambulance.
Yeah.
Cars were everywhere, and a drug officer of some kind had a rifle in the trunk of his car, and he opened his trunk, threw the rifle to the patrolman. The patrolman shot the black guy as he was going into the barn of the farm next door.
Wow.
Well, I got home just as the ambulance was leaving. And so Dad was awarded, I don't remember the name of the award, but the Highway Patrol honored him as a statewide honor for helping the patrolman.
And he didn't die.
And yeah, he came, he was in the hospital, I think 2 weeks.
Wow.
Well, he came home. Now, I had a friend living with me who did not get along with his dad, and he came to live with me. And we had always teased my dad. We liked to go, after we got all the cabins rent, we'd take the car and take off and do what teenagers do.
Yeah.
And Dad, we often would take 2 cars. He would go one place and I'd go another. Dad fussed about that. He didn't like that a bit. And so we had kids that said, well, one of these days we're going to put your butt on the ground. If we can get you on the ground, what are you going to give us? He said, you can have both cars every night for a month and I won't fuss. So that had been a standing joke
Yeah.
for several months. Well, he came home from the hospital, pale as a ghost, and they had the restaurant was here and the kitchen was here, and they had an apartment. And from the apartment into the kitchen was a regular opening and closed door. From the restaurant to the kitchen was a swinging door.
Yeah.
So Dad came out of the bedroom, had on his pajamas and robe. And he was in looking at the kitchen. So I went around and came in the apartment door, and James came in through the swinging door, and I closed the door behind me, and we said, okay, we're ready. We're gonna put your butt on the ground. We hadn't been anywhere for 2 weeks. We were just kidding, of course. Well, Dad did like this at James, and James turned around and ran out the swinging door, and Dad kept coming around, and I'm standing there like this, and he clocked me upside down. And I'm up against the wall, I'm sliding down the wall. And he grabbed me and he said, I didn't mean to hit you.
That's hilarious.
But my dad was a big bone. He was about my height, but
Yeah.
he was bigger and strong as an ox.
Yeah.
And evidently liked to fight. Because one of his buddies told me he saw him hit a man, knock him completely over the hood of a car.
Good Lord.
But boy, I'm telling you, even in his weakened state, he almost knocked me out.